Hello again and welcome to the preview show delivered by FedEx Racing. I'm Vince Cellini. This is it, race number 36. It takes us down to Homestead, Miami Speedway, and the Ford EcoBoost 400. You know the place, mile-and-a-half oval, progressive banking, multiple grooves. I know Marty Snider knows this place very, very well, and he joins us from Charlotte, North Carolina to give us his insights. TNT's Pit Road reporter is with us again. And Marty, what can you say? It's always a happy ending for one and not so happy for many others.
Well, it's a fun racetrack. I love Homestead-MiamiSpeedway, Vince. For the people involved in the sport, it's kind of like that last day of school right before summer break. Everybody's all excited to be done with school. Well, everybody's excited. This is the last week of the year. And I call this racetrack the forgotten racetrack. And this is one of my soapbox issues because every year we go to Homestead, we have this fantastic race, and everybody talks about, man, we need more races here. And then you have the winter off, and then you get to Daytona, and everybody forgets about Homestead-MiamiSpeedway. But my soapbox issue is that if we add another race, it should be at Homestead-Miami. Fantastic racetrack, always produces a wonderful race, ends at night. It's a lot of fun, and I really love this racetrack, Vince.
Well, the formula here at the end is very simple, Marty. Brad Keselowski, he has a 20-point lead on Jimmy Johnson, and for him, finishing 15th or better will clinch his first Sprint Cup Series title. But he knows all too well, does Brad, that things can go haywire in a hurry. In fact, he witnessed it last week in Phoenix when Jimmy Johnson blew a tire and wrecked and everything sort of changed. Well, it changed a lot. Brad, very cautionary in his approach this week at the finale.
If you have the choice, you always want to be in the lead of the points, especially in the closing races. So I'm thankful for that, but I also know that the troubles that they had are the same troubles that we could have next week. And so you try not to take anything for granted. You try to just focus on what lies ahead. We got to do the best job we can at Homestead. So.
Well, there you have it, Marty. Bad Brad is on the brink. As we break it down, it's really pretty simple for him, or is it?
Well, I think it's pretty simple for him, and I think a couple of things have to happen this weekend. Number one, Tim Cindric and Roger Penske are smart. They really know what they're doing, the guys who lead Penske Racing. And you have to realize they've never won a NASCAR championship. They just lost the IndyCar championship this year in the last race of the season, and they went in with a championship lead. So they want to win this championship desperately. I think their focus this week is to get Brad and Paul Wolfe not to focus on everything else they've been focused on for the last 9 weeks. Number one, Brad post-race at Phoenix going off about how he was perceived. I think don't worry about that stuff. Don't focus on that. Just worry about finishing in the top 10 this weekend, and you'll win a championship. Now, the two teams have shown they'll go for wins this year. That move at the end of the race at Phoenix, pitting with a couple of laps to go, going from 3rd to 8th. I thought that was kind of a risky move, but it showed they were going for the win. And I think they kind of need to get out of that mode this week. They just need to finish in the top 10. Jimmy Johnson obviously needs to go try and lead the most laps and win the race and gain maximum points. But all Brad Keselowski needs to worry about finishing in the top 10, and they win a championship. And in his 3rd year, that would be an incredible feat for what this two team has done this year.
Hey, Marty, is there a danger in trying to drive just to win like that? I mean, does it change your mentality on the track when you're just trying to, sort of keep things going and not do anything dumb that would derail your chances?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, look what Jimmy Johnson's done the last few years at Homestead. I mean, he's been the guy who's been in that position. He's come to this racetrack playing defense more than anything else. I think they need to get out of the mode of Keselowski and his team playing offense. They've played offense for 35 weeks now. They need to back it up. Just play defense this weekend. You can even put it in a prevent defense. Just finish top 10, top 15, and you're okay. Don't wreck. That's the big thing.
Don't wreck. Just can you imagine a guy sitting there in his car? Don't wreck, don't wreck, don't wreck. How about the crew chief chatter? Anything that they're looking for in particular this week down at Miami Speedway?
Yeah, I was talking to Slugger Labby about this earlier this week, and he told me he thinks it's going to be exactly like Phoenix in terms of the fact that, remember Phoenix, we went there last week. They hadn't had a race there since March. For a long time, that racetrack is sitting there baking in the sun, losing a lot of grip as all those oils come out of the surface. Same thing for Homestead. It's been sitting since last November. So a lot of the crew chiefs are thinking we're going to go there. We're going to be battling a lack of grip. The racetrack's going to change from Friday to Sunday. And you notice the last couple of races at mile-and-a-half racetracks where we've lost some grip at these places. Charlotte, Texas, everybody was rim riding. I think that's where the grip is going to be this weekend. Also, they're bringing the Texas tire that we had a couple of weeks ago. So crew chiefs have fresh experience with this tire. So I look at the guys who ran well at Texas to run well this weekend at Homestead.
All right, it's time to make our picks, Marty, and I'm going to throw you off a little bit because I know I've been riding that 48 every single week. I can't do it.
You
this
sure,
week.
Mr. Jimmy Johnson? You're going to throw me off?
Yeah, I can't do it this week, because we all know how Jimmy has run down there in Homestead. So
yeah.
I just can't. I know he's going to go hard this week because he has to, but I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'll go back to a guy that I rode during the middle of the season, and that's Denny Hamlin. Denny Hamlin is a guy who's a former winner there, one of the top drivers in the mile-and-a-half tracks this season. And while I kind of want to see Jimmy Johnson run well, I'm going to go with Denny Hamlin. I just like him to have a big finish to the season. So what say you, Marty?
Well, I think it's tempting to go with Jimmy Johnson because I agree with you. They're going to go all out. And they've run well at Homestead when they've needed to in the past. But I'm going to go with your picks, teammate. A guy who's run very well lately, a guy who has a terrific attitude lately. And I love how Kyle Busch and his team have handled this chase. I think they were down for a couple of weeks, but they really came back after that. They have been strong ever since. They haven't put it together for the win. I think that finally happens this weekend. You need to go back. I mentioned just a moment ago, Texas. They're going to run the same tire. Kyle was very strong there, led 80 laps in that race. I think they're very good at this type of racetrack. So I'm going to go with Kyle Busch, ending the season the right way in a great mindset heading into 2013.
All right, well, once again, this is the final show of the year, Marty. It's been a pleasure to work with you. I've learned a lot about NASCAR and just, spending this short amount of time. So I'm going to leave it to you for our goodbyes.
Well, no, I tell you, it's good to work with you, Vince, my good friend. We've worked together for a long time, back to our CNNSI days.
Yes,
but our friend Jason Sholin will not be back producing the show next year. We'll be back here with a FedEx preview on NASCAR.com next year. But Jason's done a fantastic job, despite all of his Jimmy Johnson picks in fantasy. I can't get past that, Vince. But, other than that, no, we love Jason, and we're certainly going to miss him.
Jason has been an absolute pleasure to work with. He's been a guy that I've leaned on throughout the course of doing this for 2 years now. So certainly he's going to be missed. Did a terrific job. And Jason, thank you very much for all you do. And thank you for watching the preview show. Enjoy the finale, and we will talk again down the road. So long.